What's up, guys? Welcome back to Among the Fence, my YouTube channel where I do music reviews. My name is Aaron, and so far this year I've done my top 10 favorite albums of 2021 and my top 5 favorite EPs from 2021. And now it is time for the top 5 worst albums of the year. And just like with my favorite rankings lists, same thing applies to my least favorite, where this is all just based strictly on my opinion and nothing more, just like all of my reviews, 100% opinion. And also, a lot of this stuff on the list is, this is, the way how it's ordered is pretty loose, I guess you could say. It all depends on what I'm feeling. Sometimes I'm like, these albums aren't like 100% bad, and other times I'm like, wow, this is the worst thing I have ever heard. So also take the order of this list with very much a grain of salt. This isn't like anything super serious whatsoever. Number 5 is Beartooth's album Below. This is a perfect example of the way these are ordered doesn't really matter all that much. I only put this on the list because I really dislike this album and I needed a number 5 spot. Honestly, I really don't hate this album. There wasn't really a whole lot of bad albums that came out this year though, so this one kind of just got the lucky end of the stick. I think that this album's main focus, though, is to be a live album. So when I listened to it in like my car, playing video games, or even very in-depthly, I felt like it was lacking a lot of emotion, didn't have a whole lot of variety or depth to it. It's very radio-friendly and something that you could just put on, and it doesn't really take you anywhere emotionally. It doesn't do a whole lot of stuff for you other than just get you really pumped, because it does have a ton of energy, so it does have that going for it. If you put it on and you just want to have something in the background that you could just kind of jam out to, this is it. Number 4 is Atreyu's Baptized. For being the self-proclaimed metalcore creators that they are, they released the most uninspired, soulless arena rock album that I've heard in a very long time. The lyrics on this are extremely boring and kind of pointless, and also the features on here are pretty boring and fairly pointless as well. This is like a compilation of hit songs instead of like a collection of ideas that could be formed into an album. It's like they just wanted something to just catch on the radio and get stuck in your ear and maybe make some money and remind you that Atreyu is still around. And this is like the worst example of how to do that. I mean, some of the songs on here are pretty good. Well, actually, they're just okay, I guess, and it doesn't make up for some of the worst songs on this album, which is like 90%. I mean, you got songs like Warrior, which is just absolute hot garbage, and then the song Untouchable. Actually, now that I think of it, even the okay songs on here are pretty bad too. Number 3 is Attila, Closure. Now, this could easily be number 1, but it's Attila. This is what we expect from them. This isn't a band that has been known to release like good albums, and unfortunately they happen to release like a bad album this year. No, this is a very cringy band that is releasing yet again another bad album. Like, my favorite part, one of my favorite parts on this album, is the soundbite that comes in before Viva Las Vegas, where Franz says he doesn't want to do an interview because, and I quote, snitches get stitches, saying he doesn't want to do the interview because he doesn't want to talk about the events that happened at the Las Vegas show, explaining why he doesn't want to go back, and a lot of bad stuff went down. But then directly after he says snitches get stitches, he goes and explains in very good detail throughout this song exactly what happened. Like, the amount of just lacking self-awareness that Franz has, it's godlike. It is so impressive that he just doesn't get it. And that's basically how every single song is on here. I mean, the music has potential. Everything in this has potential to be good, but it's just ruined. It's ruined by horrible lyrics. It's ruined by Franz. It's just bad. Second place is Architects, Those That Wish to Exist. Almost every single song on this album is pretty close to being exactly the same. There's no memorable moments at all. And honestly, there's not much else to say about this album. Some of the best songs on this album are mediocre, and there's only about maybe 3-4 of them tops that are like, when you listen to them, you're like, okay. And the rest is just a big blur. There's some good drum work on here, and the vocals, they are decent. Like, But after the third song, you're like, okay, this is just the same thing over and over again. The riffs and songwriting will put you to sleep. It's just so boring, very uneventful, and nothing really happens. And not to mention, it's pretty long for being something that's just rinse and repeat and formulaic and lacking just about any type of passion or emotion or creativity whatsoever. I guess I should do an honorable mention and say Limp Bizkit still sucks, but at the same time, that's not really a serious album, I guess. So I don't really count it as being in like the worst album category, because actually there were some pretty good parts on that album. I mean, Wes Borland is fantastic. Some of the beats that they have are pretty good. The lyrics are really fun. Some of the songs are very fun, even though they're cheesy. This is where self-awareness comes in and where Attila misses it. Is Fred Durst understands how silly his songs are, his lyrics are, his band is. He gets it. So I mean, you can't really tell somebody that they suck when they know that they still suck, I guess. So yeah, there's the honorable mention. And number 1 is A Day to Remember, You're Welcome, with Brick Wall being probably the worst song I've heard all year, even throughout 2020 even. It's such a bad song. That outro is just straight up trash. The direction of this album is all over the place. The songwriting is very lazy. The lyrics aren't worth knowing whatsoever. Every song has potential, but somehow they manage to ruin it and they all fall flat. It's just thrown together. It's very predictable, very lazy. I mean, this album should have honestly have been called We're Sorry, because it just doesn't have anything to offer whatsoever. All the singles were bad, and I can't get over how bad Brick Wall was. I just cannot do it. All right, guys, that is it for my top 5 worst albums of the year. Leave a comment below letting me know what's your least favorite album, or a list of your least favorite albums throughout 2021. And remember that this is all just based on my opinion. I'm very sorry if Attila or Architects is your favorite band, and I just made you very upset, and you're very unhappy, and you're going to tell me how much I suck. That's fine. But at the same time, it's just, these are just my thoughts. Nothing factual here. So I'm sure some of my favorite music is some of your least favorite music. And that's okay. That's what makes music so great, is we could all have different opinions and we could all love something different. And even if you love Attila, you can still love one of the worst bands to ever exist. And it's all right. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to give it a like. Leave a comment below letting me know what I should review next. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon to help support me and my channel. That way you don't miss out on any future stuff, especially if you leave a request, because sometimes that does happen. And I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day or night, whenever you happen to be watching this, and I'll talk to you guys next time. I was